SEO has been split into two games. There's Google, which you've always been optimizing for, and now there's AI search. ChatGPT, AI overviews, AI mode, Gemini, Claude, you get it. Your clients are already using them, and those platforms are deciding who gets cited and who gets ignored. The sites that win both, they have one thing in common: topical authority. In this video, I'm going to show you the full system for building it inside Floyi. We start with brand foundation, audience insights, work through topical research, SERP clustering, site architecture, and then move into topical maps, content briefs, AI generated drafts, and optimization scoring. So let's go ahead and create our own project. When you first get to the brand foundation page, this is where we set our brand strategy and brand identity. You can always go to the manual input if you don't have a web page yet, you don't have a home page, you don't have anything up, and you can add in all the information that you think is relevant into the brand context area. But if you do have a site up and you have a home page with some information about the site, you can go ahead and put in your homepage URL. So I'm going to put in Manhattan Chiro Center. It's a chiropractic site. Then if you have a second URL like an about page or services pages, that would be good to have. Let me bring up the Manhattan Chiropractic site. So we have this, we have a lot of different services, treatments, locations, and then of course an about us page. Let's see, this has all this different services. This has different locations. Let's go see if they have additional information about, yeah, we can include this. Any notes that you want? Primary countries US, English is the output language. So what it's doing now is it's going to both of those pages, analyzing all the information on those pages to create a full brand identity for you. So we'll give it a second. This will usually take about a minute or so. Oh, and before I forget, down here in the bottom left of the sidebar are different AI model options. We always go with the latest, the Claude Haiku, Claude Sonnet, the Gemini options, and the GPT OpenAI options. You can't really go wrong with any of them. I usually just stick with GPT-5 Mini because I always try to make sure that everything we do is always optimized no matter what model you choose. All right, almost done. Finalizing it. So we have, let me make this a little bigger. We have the brand name, the website URL. Here we have the country, the settings, the sources, the mission statement, vision statement, tagline, target audience, brand voice, core values, marketplace, market position, key competitors, USP, brand personality, brand story. Amazing information, so important as we start building things down the road. Your brand sets the foundation for everything that you do. Here we also have some additional things going on. We have the content guide. We have different rules and guidelines that we can input and add so that the AI agents writing your content briefs will always keep in mind and follow. Different terminology, compliance, competitors. Everything is blank right now, but we have a use starter kit. It'll add in examples that you can work off of for all of the rules. So terminology, compliance, competitors, brand messaging, and approved snippets. Approved snippets are little snippets of information that you can just put right into any piece of content. Okay, so instead of having to type your CTA over and over again, you can click a button and it'll add in your primary CTA of start building topical authority today. So next thing, a brand voice. So here we already have a brand voice, but if you want a more tailored brand voice, what you can do is upload 3 to 5 different documents and it'll come up with a comprehensive writing style for your brand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload 3 different files that I prepped here for Manhattan Chiro Center, and we're just going to analyze it. And then let's see what we get, what kind of writing patterns they give us. All right, Now that we have our brand voice all set up, head over to the knowledge base where you're able to add in even more information about your brand. If you're selling products or you have some white paper case studies or anything like, you'll want to upload them here. You can upload all sorts of files, drag and drop. You can add URLs to articles or anything, or you can paste in any text here and give it a document name, and that's it. So depending on the plan you have, you'll be able to upload up to 2,000 documents, no matter how big or small. So once you're done with brands, you want to head over to the audience insights. And this is where we go in and create the buyer personas, the readers, and who you're targeting. Let's create 3 different ones for now. You could add in anything like age range, location. Obviously, since this chiropractic place is in Manhattan, you may want to input certain areas of Manhattan depending on where your location is. For this one, since we have different locations, we don't need to put in anything specific, but the buyer persona agents here will read our brand foundation and see that our offices are in Manhattan, in certain areas of Manhattan, and so it'll give us personas that are in those areas. All right, here we go. Let's see. We have Daniel Kim, Robert Levine, Samantha Rodriguez, all living in Manhattan. So we have one Manhattan here, Upper West Side and downtown Manhattan. All different types of people we would want to attract to the chiropractic center. We look at the demographics, then we also look at the psychographics. We make sure that we have all this detailed information about them. These personas aren't just generalized personas like Marketing Mary or Sales Sally or anything like that. We actually have names, we have jobs, we have age ranges, we have income, we have their goals in life, we have their pain points, all the values, fears, where they get their information from, objections and quotes. Everything that we would want to have as specific as possible to make sure our content is able to convert them. Once you get some personas you're happy with, go ahead and head over to site architecture next, where we start to structure your site, okay, with all the different pages that you have. Now, since this is a local page, we have options like local site plus resources and local site only if we don't want any blog articles or resource pages or anything. And then if your site is not a local site, you could just go ahead and do resources only, so it skips this page. All right, so because we want both, what we're going to do here is we're going to choose local site and resources. You may remember from the course the local SEO module, where we talk about the different types of pages for local SEO sites. So we have the home page, about, contact pages, blog or resource pages for most of the content and service or product pages, plus location pages. There is this mind map where we show whether or not you want to use the services and location URL slugs to hold all your services and locations under. So here in Floyi, you're able to do all that. All right, so let's define your services. I have the list of services here, plus location areas. Okay, I'm just going to put these 3 locations for now. If we want to get more specific, we can always choose the neighborhood as well, and then we would just input that. This, I think it's Alphabet City. I don't know. Let me check real quick. So Lower Manhattan, Alphabet City, Battery Park, NoHo, Lower East Side, Little Italy, all of them. And if you want to cover more, all you need to do is go like this, NoHo. Okay, and just keep adding in. So you could do the same thing with Midtown, Manhattan, Upper Manhattan. For now, we're just going to leave those 3 areas. Okay, and then if you wanted the state in there, you can always do New York and then go like that. And then add the other arrow again, and you still have your cities. All right, so we're not going to do that. It's only if you're multiple states. All right, so down here, let's see. If you do have a page, you can always do fetch locations from that page. So I could always put the URL in there and just give them this homepage with all these different locations, and the agent will automatically add them in. And then the URL structure, do you want the services and location subfolders that we were talking about over here? Let's turn them on. Let's see. And then you can name it however you want. So if services isn't right, Then you could do treatments, solutions, services, locations. I guess that's fine. Locations are fine. Do you want to create service plus location? So this is a general chiropractic care page. Now, do we want to create a specific Lower Manhattan plus chiropractic care page where we talk about chiropractic care in Lower Manhattan? That's something that we may want to do. Well, turn that on. We don't need the replace existing. Now, we also have a choice here. Once you get to the service and location URL pages, do you want them split like this, where it's state, city, service, or do you want the combined slug, where it goes city-service? And this all depends on how deep your URL structure is already. If you have these subfolders, you may want to just have a combined slug, right? Because the extra service pages may actually go too deep. Let's choose the nested path for now, and then we'll just click generate structure. Depending on how many you have, it usually takes a few seconds, but since we do have a lot of services and locations that it's going to create, then it might take a few more seconds. It's usually pretty quick. And there we go. We have the preview with two different views. We have the tree and the table view. Okay, so this makes it easy to see locations, Lower Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, and all the service plus location pages here. And so you can see the location / Lower Manhattan / chiropractic care. And then treatments, we have treatments, chiropractic care. So we have all those pages already laid out for you. You don't need to go and figure this out because this is already done for you. From here, if we want to add our about page, you can always do that. Click what kind of service type it is. It's an about page. Does it have a parent? No, it doesn't have a parent. You can use this single manual page to add, or you can use the book. Let's say we have a new treatment here. Okay, you could add new services under treatments. So you just look up the treatment here, your treatment page. All right, that's your parent. You can put in the treatment here. So if you have new locations, you can always add new locations. Let's find the locations hub here. All right, so from here, we have everything set. We can see the table view again, and then we can just go ahead and head over to Topical Research. This Topical Research page will help you fill out your resources and your blog articles and everything. So we have the site information again, the buyer personas that we want. So let's choose, let's say, 2 of them. And then your core topic of chiropractic care. Let's click save. And then the seed keywords can be, let's say, sports injury, physical therapy. You can add in all the different treatments or add in none, save nothing. And then you can head over down here. We have 3 different views, which we'll cover in a second. Let me generate some main topics first. This is generating all the main topics that are relevant to your brand and your buyers. Let me zoom out just a bit because these pages can get really large. All right, here we go. Main topics, generation complete. We could dismiss this now. Let's say chiropractic care, here, sports injury, physical. So it has all our treatments here. Great. And then it has an additional choosing a chiropractor in Manhattan. Perfect. So our 3 different views, we have the silo view here, and we'll see the tree later once we get deeper. And then we have our outlines. Since these are all main topics, we have no subtopics yet. So we can click generate subtopic 2s and 3s now together. Down here, we'll have all the different buttons, the 4 different steps of generating subtopics and keywords. But you don't really need to always go through all of them. I usually stay within step 1, step 2, and step 3 because we don't always need to get down to step 4. It really depends on how broad your core topic is. For these topical maps, because we're doing it all within Floyi, you're actually able to create multiple topical maps. Your topical map does not need to be huge. It could be even 100 subtopics or 50 subtopics. It all depends. So for us, we could actually create 5 or 6 different subtopics if we want. If we don't want to manage one huge topical map, we can create a map for chiropractic care, map for sports injuries, a map for physical therapy. So in those cases, you may just put sports injuries up here in your core topic and then generate your main topics under sports injury and then generate the subtopic 2s and 3s under it. So here, let's see, here is the outline view. Okay, and you can see all the different subtopics under them. You could just click expand and it'll expand everything. And then our spreadsheet view is what we're usually used to. This is the view that we used throughout the course. So here is a silo view. It's similar to the outline view, but it's a horizontal scroll across the different main topics. In case there is any overlapping things, you could always rename it or delete them here. From here, we don't have any editing abilities here, but if you go to spreadsheet, you can always edit from here. Okay, you can click in and edit, rename, delete. Another way you could do it is to download the XLS version of this, and then you can import it back in, set it that way. There are already 319 topics that will be used for clustering. If you want to go deeper, you can click generate subtopic 4s and it will generate subtopics for each of these subtopic 3s. It'll always tell you how many credits it will take to generate them. But I think we are actually pretty good with the 300 here. For now, we can see that chiropractic care for back pain. We go into the costs and alternatives, and then prehabilitation, success rates for chiropractic care and all that, cost comparisons, budgeting and everything. I think we're actually pretty good on depth. So what we're going to do is go ahead and head over to clustering. You'll get this message. Are you sure? Because once you get to clustering and you start locking in these SERPs there, we can't come back and change this anymore. All right, now that we are on the clustering page, let's check the country, language, location. Since we are localized, we want New York here. All right, SERP similarity percentage. You can stay with the standard of 40. You can adjust it as well later on depending on how the clustering comes out. It'll be 319 keywords that we're clustering. Go ahead and click Fetch SERPs and Cluster. It'll take a few minutes for this clustering to finish, so we will come back when it's done. All right, and now it's done. Now that we have all the clusters, we can go in and check and see, do we need to broaden the scope of the SERP similarity here? We can change it to 30% if you want and hit recluster. It doesn't cost any more credits to recluster. It uses the same SERPs here, and now we're just looking at 30% overlap. Now we have a little bit less in terms of unique clusters. All right, so if you're happy with this, we can go ahead and go over to the topical hierarchy. So again, same thing. You want to make sure that you're happy with the clusters before moving on. We won't be able to come back here and adjust and fetch new SERPs or anything like that. And these buttons here, you can always click the buttons to see the SERPs for this particular keyword. So you got these over here. Now for URL settings, you can choose a URL prefix. A lot of sites use blog as a prefix, so you can use a blog and then something in front, resources, learn, guides, articles, or anything you want. Most common for local SEO sites are usually blog and resources. We'll just go with resources here. We'll save the prefix, and then we'll generate the topical hierarchy. So it's going to take all those unique clusters and then sort them out and create the topical hierarchy. So this is usually pretty quick as well. It won't take too long. All right, so it's done. Here we go. Okay, so we could see how the hierarchy is. Here's the acupuncture holistic pain management. So we have all these here. Now the next step is to generate the URL slugs. So for generating URL slugs, the AI agents will add the prefix of resources in front, and then it'll make sure that all of your URL slugs, no matter how deep they go, they'll fit within a depth of 4 URL slugs. Here you can see that URL slugs are empty. Let's click generate URL slugs. This will take a few minutes because there are 291 unique topics to create URLs for. We'll come back to this in a little bit. All right, now that the URL slugs are completed, they all have the resources in front, and then we have the different URL slugs, and you can see how they're laid out. So we have the evidence and clinical research back pain behind it, evidence gaps, chronic pain management. So everything here is good. Then you can click through to the other main topics, the resources, chiropractic back pain, chiropractor Manhattan, and care coordination. The next step here is optional to get the content snapshot and intent. So these are the titles, the search intent, content types. Now, if you are working with clients, this is great to have. This analyzes the SERPs and gives you all this information like content title, search intent, buyer's journey, content type. It'll create a snippet, a meta description. It'll analyze these SERP competitors and give you an analysis of the SERPs. It'll also look at the freshness of the SERPs. This is all great information, even if you want to keep it in-house as well. It gives you the sense of what will be needed down the road. But it's only optional because at the next stage of Topical Authority, we're going to do even deeper SERP analysis and analysis of competitor content. That's going to help you with your briefs and the content. That's why you don't really need this here right now. Same warning, do you want to proceed to Topical Authority? Because we can't come back here and start adjusting the topical map anymore because it'll affect everything else here with Topical Authority once you start creating briefs and start creating content, and especially the internal links. So once we get to the Topical Authority stage, what we want to do is we want to open the settings here and create any additional brand aliases that we have. When it goes through the SERPs, when it goes through the AI overviews, AI mode, or ChatGPT, it'll look for these additional brand names. Okay, so maybe MCC is good, Manhattan Chiro Center might be another alias that others may use in creating reviews or creating comments elsewhere, anywhere. Click add, and then we'll have all those. Now, do you want to add Google AI mode and ChatGPT as additional AI search tracking? For now, we're going to click on yes. You'll see the estimates of costs here, local business query strategy. So for our location pages, if they only list the location like Manhattan and Lower Manhattan and Midtown Manhattan and Upper Manhattan, we need to have a service in addition to the location. For now, we're going to put chiropractic care, and the term chiropractic care will be added on to the queries for the locations. And that way we get specifically what your users may be searching. For our service and location pages, we can put in a certain pattern here. You could say service in location, or you could say service around location, near location. However you think your audience will search for these services in your area. We could always add in other patterns as well. So you can see the best service in the location. These are other ones to add in. And these will be used as anchor text in internal links, as well as in the briefs. Tracking defaults by local page. Do you want to track your local pages even? Some people may not want to track. So for us, let's say we want to track all of them. We don't have any neighborhood. We don't need to track the main locations and main service pages. Do we want to include the branded queries? Do you want your about page, your contact page, your pricing page to be included for search? I usually don't add them. If they come up, great, but they're not pages that we are actively trying to track. Search locale, New York is still here. Do we want to schedule SERP refresh? So you can choose a day of the week, your local time, every Wednesday. You'll see how many credits it costs. Plus, the AI mode and ChatGPT here are actually the web versions of them. They're not the APIs. Neither of them have an API, but some will just use the OpenAI API, which is not the same as the browser version of ChatGPT. So those are different. Once you're done with your settings, we can go ahead and click Save. Okay, so it's saved. Click on Cancel Now to exit out. Then we can click on Calculate Now to start calculating the topical authority. Or you can watch a walkthrough first. But if you click Calculate Now, you'll get the walkthrough page here. Next step is to just wait. We have 291 topics to look through in the SERPs and in AI mode and ChatGPT and AI overviews. So we'll come back when this is done. All right, so now the topical authority, SERP fetch, and AI overviews and AI mode and ChatGPT fetches are all done. Once they're done and analyzed, you will get an email like this telling you that everything is finished. Now you can go in and check your topical authority. Once you come in, you will land on this page. This is the Topical Authority workspace where you'll be able to create briefs, create drafts, and you'll be able to track how well your site is doing across Google SERPs, AI overviews, AI mode, and ChatGPT. Because this is a demo site, we don't have anything ranking, or our topical authority score here is 0%. We do have a little bit of purple here, which is our AI authority. So topical authority score is made up of content authority, which is the topical coverage, how much you've published, and how well it's ranking. Market authority is how visible your brand is and your share of voice. And AI authority covers mentions and citations in AI overviews, AI mode, and ChatGPT. We can see that we have some action in ChatGPT and AI mode. So we have an AI authority of 4.1%. Next up here is giving you suggestions on what to publish next. Because we have nothing published yet, they're recommending us to publish all the key pillar pages. Over to the right is the pillar coverage, and then we have all the different location pages, all the different treatment pages, acupuncture, chiropractic care. So we cover the local pages and the resource pages here. And we have the MVC, which is minimum viable coverage, which is at 60% to sufficiently cover the pillar for these various topics. So we want to at least reach 60% coverage for each of these pillars. Okay, and depending on the pillar, depending on your knowledge of the pillar and the topics, you may want to cover even more. Down here, we have our main competitors, which you can always set by clicking Edit List. You can set who your competitors are. So we have charts where you're able to track the number of topics that are ranking, visibility, share of voice, organic traffic, and the AI overviews and AI mentions, AI mode, and GPT. And then we click over here to the table where you can get a quick glance at rankings, at the gaps, how many URLs are ranking. You can get a sense of your presence and how many of the topics you are present in the top 20, and your competitors as well. Your brand visibility, your share of voice, your traffic, your AI overviews, mentions, and citations. Same with AI mode and ChatGPT. They're showing 34 URLs across 14 topics in ChatGPT citations. And many of them actually have multiple URLs in each one. And this one, walk-in chiropractic clinics, we have 4 different URLs that are showing up in citations. And you can always click in any of them and see the actual ChatGPT response and the citations that we have. So here we go. Here's one, here's another, 3 over here. Oh, here's 4. ChatGPT obviously loves to cite us. Our competitors have 0 or 1. Moving down a little bit, we can see our share of voice leaderboard. So across our topical map, there are 3,075 domains that are showing up in the top 20, and across 323 topics. All right, so we can see the top 10, we can see the top 20. You can sort by the different columns, so you can see who's most common with us. Obviously, since we're only ranking for one URL, we're not going to have a lot. You can see the number of URLs that are ranking in the search results. So the government site, YouTube are in the top 2. Then we can see the brand presence, visibility, share of voice, traffic, and then of course the AI overviews, AI mode, and ChatGPT. We also have another view if you like percentages more. We have the percentages here. Same thing. You can always click and see the rankings, see the AI responses, see the citations. All right. For each of these topics, the government site has multiple URLs in the top 20. Okay. So there's 3 over here. They're ranked 1, 3, and 10. They're ranking number 1 for a lot of the topics. Okay. So that gives you a lot of information. Then the next thing where we're taking more action is the planner tab. And this is where all the fun is. This is where you are creating briefs and you're creating article drafts. We have our resource pages, all of our topical research and clustering and the topical map. And then we have our local pages here that we created in site architecture. So you could see that some of these pages, the service and location pages, are being cited over here. You can just go ahead and click on them and it'll bring up the ChatGPT response and you'll be able to see where you are being cited. And then here is the response. Lots of information, and this is the tracking component. Okay, so this planner tab right here covers your brief, your internal linking strategy, your content creation, publishing, and tracking your content. In each of these, we actually have a sidebar here. If you click the eye icon, you'll see you can mark it as published. You'll see the content briefs that you created. You can generate multiple content briefs. You can see all of your article drafts, the basic information about the content, the URL slug. You can always edit the URL slug here as well. This all comes from the topical map stage. So if you did a content snapshot, all that information would be here for you and the agents to use. And then we have our link management, where your internal linking strategy is all pretty much automated. And these are your related topics, the topics that are on the same level as this current topic of massage therapy services and how semantically related they are to each other. So same with subtopics. Obviously with subtopics, because they are children topics for massage therapy services, they are going to be more semantically relevant. Then we can create additional anchor text. You can generate anchors. The AI agents here are specialized in creating similar anchors to this without cannibalizing all of your other topics. So here we go. You can see which ones come from where, which ones come from the map, which ones are generated by AI. And then you can always add more manually. So let's say massage therapy services, and then we'll include near me. Maybe you want something else. Maybe you want in Manhattan, something that you think will not cannibalize any of the other topics here. So each of these topics have them. You can always expand to see everything. We have handy filters as well. All right, I just want to work on my top 20 here. Okay, you can see this one is the top 20. Maybe I just want to work on the ones that were found in ChatGPT. So we have all these different views that are possible. And then if you want to create briefs, all we need to do is click on this checklist icon and it will bring up the top 20 results for this topic. And then over here, the AI search responses have AI overviews, AI mode, and ChatGPT. And if you didn't fetch them during the initial SERP and AI search fetching, then that's fine. You can always click here to fetch the latest ones. You can always refetch the SERPs as well. So for now, we are working on choosing a chiropractor in Manhattan. So we're going to choose the most relevant ones. This is a Yelp page. We don't need to compare that. Best chiropractors. So ZocDoc is another one we don't really need. Maybe Prestige, choosing the right one, how to choose. This is the home page, so we may not want that actually. All right, so we want guides and articles on how to choose the best one. You can always click on here to view the page that shows up. So this one does talk about how to choose the right chiropractor and everything. So we may want to include that. We'll keep it. Okay, so determining if your Manhattan chiropractor is ideal for you. So once you're done with that, go ahead and click next, and then click the personas who this content is for. We have a max of 2 personas that you can select because you don't need any more than 2. Once you start getting more than 2, this content will get diluted and generalized, and it won't convert anyone because you're targeting any and everyone now. You're targeting the masses. So you want to make sure you know who this article is targeting. And once you're done with that, you can click next and add additional keywords that you want. It'll include any of the keywords that were clustered during the SERP clustering phase. And then you can add your own. And then here are the internal links. So we have our related topics, we have our subtopics. You can go ahead and choose which ones you want to link to. So let's say choosing a chiropractor in Manhattan, we want to link to our chiropractic care for back pain. We can link to physical therapy services because those are usually closely related. Our subtopics, you can include a directory, choosing a clinic, and treatment approaches definitely. Over here, we have our anchor text. If you added a bunch, if you have any from the map, they'll all be here. So let's say chiropractic treatments, massage therapy, we're not using, but this is where we added the AI ones. This is where we added the manual ones as well. So anytime you create additional anchors, they're going to show up here when you're generating your briefs. The agents will be able to place all these links in the best possible position in your content. And here for physical therapy services, there are no additional anchors because there were no additional keywords that were clustered. And I didn't add any additional anchors for this topic. All right, so same thing here. We don't have any additional ones here. So you can always go back and add additional anchor text for each of these topics. Down here, you can choose include external links commonly referenced by competitors. Now, if many of your competitors are linking to certain papers or studies and research, you probably want to do the same thing, right, for EEAT purposes. So this option is always here. You can always add your own external sources, and you can add any brief notes for yourself or your team. Then once you're done, you just click generate brief, and it will start generating the brief. Once it's done, it will send you an email. So we'll wait for this. Then while that's going, I'll show you some other things as the brief is being written. You can see over here, this icon has turned pulsing yellow, which means that it's in progress. Let's take a look at the organizer. If you start seeing that, okay, there are new topics to cover, we forgot something, or we actually don't need this anymore, or this topic should be combined with another topic, you have that ability here. This is where we can say, okay, let's see what we have here. These are all pretty unique. But let's say this is massage for lower back pain and then massage for shoulder pain. Let's assume they are the same topic. So you want to select the 2 that are on the same level to each other. You can't combine a parent and a child unless you move one of them to the other level. So these 2 are on the same level. Click combine. And then you could choose which one you want to keep as the primary topic, which is what's going to show up in the planner. Let's keep the lower back pain. And then this massage for shoulder pain will become a keyword inside of lower back pain. We can save it or we can reset it and undo our change. For now, we're going to save it. Now that it is saving and syncing, because we combined the topics, it adjusted the hierarchy, right? So here we can click recalculate now, and it'll just redo all the scoring and then all the tracking of SERPs and the AI search responses. Let's search for it. Let me turn off this filter first. Okay, so lower back pain, here it is. Click on the eye icon to bring up the sidebar and open up link management, and you could see the shoulder pain over here as an anchor. Okay, so back to organizer, we have different views as well depending on what you prefer. Let's remove this filter. We have the columns view if you prefer this. This is the columns like on Macs. I love this view. It's really easy just to sort, and you can click and drag the topics to different areas. If you want to put it back, you can just click and drag it back to the parent, or you can just click undo. Okay, let's see. Then we have the tree view. You can always expand everything and see it all, or collapse it all. And then here you can also click and drag as well. If you get too deep, it'll send you a warning that you are too deep. So here, move blocked, 4 levels max, right? We always want to try to stay within 4 levels. Then reset all this. If you ever want to hide anything and remove it from the plan, you could always just click these checkboxes and click the archive button. Confirm you want to archive these. And then here you go with the archive. You can save it and lock it in. Okay, so now it's locked in. It's gone from our view. If you ever want to see it again, just go ahead and click show archived here, and then it'll start loading the archived topics. Okay, here you go. So we'll wait for the content brief to finish and come back. All right, now the email is done, and you'll get an email just like this one here. Click on that and it'll take you to the planner tab page over here. So if you still see this yellow, it's because the page just hasn't refreshed yet. Go ahead and click the actions icon to refresh over here. All right, so now it's green. Let's go ahead and click the icon. And now we can see all of the detailed information in this brief. Our strategic foundation, goals, intent, buyer journey stage, target audience, our selected buyer personas, our content approach. These are all generated after analyzing your competitors. Okay, so our writing guidelines. And if you remember, we created the brand voice early on. If you did create a brand voice, those will be prioritized over these writing guidelines and styles that are in this content brief. So you don't ever have to worry about copying and pasting it for someone else. You don't have to ever worry about finding those guidelines for style and tone and voice or anything. It's all automatically passed through to the AI agents. Okay, so you have your word count, image count, video count. Then from the competitor analysis, we have our similarities and differences so that we can find the content gaps and have information gain. So we have core topics here. 3 out of 5 discussed this. Same thing. 2 out of 5 discussed this and that. Key entities. 3 out of 5 mentioned Manhattan, New York City, X-ray, MRIs. Then we have the differentiation. What's going to make your content unique? What are the angles and opportunities that are out there? All right, so we can position the page as Manhattan's first practical decision toolkit for choosing a chiropractor. Then we have content gaps that our competitors don't have, and this helps to inform the angle opportunities and these opportunities down here. So the IG means information gain scoring. The higher, the better the opportunity. And then if you did this, how likely would you be cited in AI overviews, AI mode, and ChatGPT responses for this topic? These are the opportunities. The draft agents will not cover everything here. They'll cover what they can to make it flow and not force anything. Then we have the competitors that were selected early on. Then we have our keywords, which includes the entities to use inside the brief for optimized placement, the internal links that we selected. And now we get to the meat here. Each of these sections here, we have a section goal. We have the content points. Some of these stats are also fetched from competitors for parity and to make sure that your content does not stray too far from what's already expected, whether it's in the SERPs or AI search responses. We have our keywords and entities that are being used for this section, the internal links to use in this section, the word count suggestion, and all of the sections here have the same format. Very detailed, not an outline. Outlines that are just headers. Too many AI tools out there are basically given a header outline with no additional information. That's where you get the generic content that's asking to be taken down. And now we have our FAQs, and we have 5 of them. And if you ever see that you want to change anything here, you can go ahead and click Edit Brief, and you can see all the different areas where you can change, and then click Save Changes. And then once you are happy with your brief, go ahead and click Go Create Article down here. All right, so it's going to load the same brief. And if you still need to make any changes, you can click Edit Brief here, edit whatever you need to. Here we have our title, meta description, URL again. You have our strategic intent. The strategic intent helps to define the primary jobs that a content is meant to perform. We have one as teach, which is to be a helpful guide along the way. They're great for how-to guides, informational content, what is, topic hubs. Then we have the structural job, like architects. You're building your content to be semantically rich and easy for AI models and search engines to parse, index, and cite. So they're great for in-depth explainers, technical breakdowns, and authoritative content. Then you have convince, which is driving the reader to a decision. The advisor is meant to persuade and use direct confidence personas with data and proof points to help convince the reader. So they're great for service pages, case studies, and reviews, other commercial content. This is the suggested one for this piece of content on choosing a chiropractor in Manhattan. If you want a different one, go ahead and slide over to the arrow and you can choose something different. Then we have our statuses where you can set the editorial status once there is a draft. You can select, if you have multiple versions of a brief, you can select the version of the brief you want to use. Section instructions here, you can create certain instructions that are done for each section. This doesn't apply if you want to change your brand voice or personality or anything like that. And that's all done in the brand foundation stage. You can also change it inside the brief as well if you don't have a brand voice in the brand foundation. So now we have our specialist agents. We have an agent for an intro and key takeaways. Then we have agents to fact check, and then agents to research and find the sources for claims that are not supported by the content. These are all done after the first draft is generated. And that's the best way to generate your intro and key takeaways. And of course, you need to have your whole article before you can fact check. So we have different levels of research depth. We have basic and advanced. Basic is usually good enough. You don't always need advanced unless it's a really technical article and you know that there are a lot of stats and data that might need to be supported. Once you are ready to go, click on Generate Optimized Draft. Once the draft is done, it'll send you an email and you can come back and check it. You don't need to wait around for this to finish. You can even go back to the authority planner here and start working on something else. We're going to wait a few minutes for that and we will come back. All right, we're back with the Choosing a Chiropractor in Manhattan article. Go ahead and click on the brief icon here, and we will be able to see the article. We have the introduction, the key takeaways, we have the sections, so we have the internal links. So you could see that each of these sections are nicely formatted, digestible, easy to read, great for LLMs to parse. Let's see, FAQs. Down here we have the sources that were found by the researcher agents. Then we have the SERP competitors used, the ones we selected, and then the fan out search queries that were used by the researcher agents. Okay, so you can see all the related queries. Let's see, click in edit in Workspace if you want to make edits, to publish directly to WordPress and everything. From here, a couple things to touch on. Back in the brand foundation, we had the snippets in the content guide, right? Here are where the snippets live. And if you want to input anything here, you can input your primary CTA here. You can select an affiliate disclosure, AI disclosure. So these are little snippets that you are using again and again. And then you can download in various formats, export to Google Docs as well. Copy button, copy the markdown and HTML. Make edits, you can save. It'll automatically save, but you can always click the button as extra insurance. So here we have all the information, the title, meta description. You can still make edits to this if you want, the URL slug as well, and that'll update everywhere. You can set the editorial status as you're awaiting review right now, and then you can set it to needs editing, approved, published. Then if you want to regenerate, you can always regenerate. But for now, what we're going to do is we can take a look at Optimizer. So this is the optimization scoring. We have a 58 right now. We can compare it to our main competitors that we selected. So click on coverage and you'll be able to see the scores for all of your competitors. We have a 58, whereas the others, the highest is 51. So we're well above everyone else. Our heading structure is excellent. AI chunkability is excellent. And reading ease is fair. This is a health article, medical article. So there's always going to be a higher readability level. So you can see here, you can sort by the terms that you have the most of and see how you're doing against the competitors. Obviously, we're missing all these doctors because those doctors aren't on our website. You can compare it to AI overviews, AI mode, and ChatGPT as well. See all the different terms that they're using. They have lots of entities here for other chiropractic centers, and we're not exactly looking to add them to our articles. Okay, so here you can also click on sources if you want to read the summaries and the key claims made by the SERP competitors. If you want to see the topics they cover, the entities they cover, their full article down here. And then if you want to see the AI sources, the agents also analyze and extract the key claims, extract topics and entities. It's all in there. You can reference it whenever you want. Let's go ahead and minimize this. And now you can see the terms. We have the main topics here, entities and keywords. So you can always filter by entities, or if you just want to see the keywords even. See what entities you might be missing. Like, again, we don't need these doctors. Some of these other entities, we may not need these doctors. Okay. And with main topics and subtopics, this covers exact matching the terms, which oftentimes we're not going to be doing. You can always delete things as long as they're covered in your article. So patient reviews and outcomes, that's probably covered in our article. So we can just remove these because these are long tail phrases that we won't be putting in exactly in our content, even though we may cover the topic itself. Our optimization score is up to 59 as we remove some of these subtopics that we're not going to be matching. And then you can always highlight and see the ones that are actually covered in the article. And then if you want to export the terms, they're all here. You can restore everything you hid. So the optimization, very handy, very useful. The competitor average here is only a 45, whereas you're 59. And the next thing to do is publish. So go ahead and click this publish button. And right now we can connect to WordPress. So if you click this, you'll get a message that no WordPress site is connected yet. So we want to go to the settings page and the integrations tab. Here we'll see the WordPress. We'll just click connect site and you get a nice token here, right? And then in WordPress, head over to the plugins, add a plugin, search for Floyi, and you'll see the Floyi Connect, and just go ahead and install and activate it. Once that's done, head over to settings and then down to Floyi. And then once you see this, go ahead and paste the token in here, click connect, and that's it. Simple as that. Head back over, close this pop-up. Okay, now you can click publish to WordPress again and you'll see everything. You'll see your site here. You'll see the post types. You can publish as a post or publish as a page. I'll publish as a page just to show you that we can set our parent pages. Because there's only the sample page, it's a fresh WordPress site, we'll set the parent page as sample page and our URL slug here. Then you can set the publish status as draft, published, or schedule it. Select your author, and then in SEO metadata, you can include it with the title, the meta description, and the focus keyword. Now, you'll notice that there's no SEO plugin detected, so you'll have to install one of the plugins like Rank Math or Yoast, and then these titles and descriptions will be pushed to those plugins, so you don't need to do it yourself later. Now, we're going to save it as a draft, and it will push automatically to WordPress. There you go. So now we can preview it on WordPress. We'll just click over to Pages, since that's where it is, and you can see that it is the parent page. Okay, so let's click in. We can see the article, everything. Here are the search queries, fan out, that you'll probably want to delete, the SERP competitors, delete. And then the URL slug here, it is under sample page still. Now, if you publish it directly on WordPress, you can view the page now. Here it is. Okay. Then head back over to Floyi. Let's close this. And you'll notice that it's in draft, right? Now, if you click the button, it's loading. It's grabbing the information again from WordPress. And we can see it's published now. So we can always come back and update the published article. We can set it back to draft. We can schedule it for later if we want. Okay, we can change any of these settings. And then once you hit published here, if you come back to the planner tab, you'll notice that you can see here, choosing a chiropractor in Manhattan, it's been marked as published already. So everything is connected. Then the next thing we can do is, once you have a good amount of pages published, you can go ahead and click over to Audit. And what this will do is, this will do a content audit. You can crawl the website, or if you already have a CSV of all your content with all the pages, you can upload it. But if you don't, you can just go ahead and crawl your website here. If you don't have a sitemap, you'll need to do a force crawl. You can exclude certain paths. So you can exclude private, admin, or you can do include only paths. So you can include like blog and products. And then this option for exclude taxonomy pages, the category pages, the tag pages, the author, the ones that you're not looking to rank. Depending on how many pages you have, go ahead and put the page limit, and then all you need to do is click Start Content Audit. So it will try to find all the pages that you have that are relevant. It will crawl each of the pages, grab that content, create a vector embedding of your whole site with the topical map. Then it will analyze all your content, and then it will do semantic matching to see which content is most related to the topics in your topical map. This will take a few minutes. We'll come back and check out the audit. All right, and content audit is done. We have 4.5% topic coverage. Let's see, 13 topics are matched with pages from the 35 pages that they scanned. There's heavy cannibalization going on with 5 of the topics and 31 issues found. Then in the trend, see how you're doing as time moves on. So you'll want to do regular content audits, probably at least once a month if you're publishing regularly. And then see the action items: resolve cannibalization, optimize content, and see how well you're doing with all the pillars. And so choosing a chiropractor in Manhattan, we're covered in 13.5% of the topics with our current pages. And then this is the radar view of it, if you prefer bar or radar. And then down here, we could see the individual pages and the topics that they're best matched to. So you can see here, Midtown Manhattan is being matched to best chiropractors in Midtown Manhattan. Pretty good matching there. Here you'll also have the suggested optimized. You might want to optimize it if that page and that topic are in sync. Here, the sports injury chiropractic care does not match up with Manhattan Chiropractor Directory. So even though it has a pretty high score, because it's still matching all the content that's on that page to this query. So with semantic matching, a lot of times you won't get as accurate results. So here you can just reassign it to something else. Since this is sports injury, we can look for a sports injury topic, assessment, rehabilitation, sports injury types. None of these really fit, but let's just say rehabilitation for now. And then give it a second and it will update. Let's see, where did it go? Down here. The matching score of this term with the whole piece of content is a 79.1% matching. And then we have the cannibalization page, where you'll see multiple pages being connected to one topic. Choosing a chiropractor in Manhattan is being connected to all of these pages. Manhattan Chiropractor Directory being connected to all these pages as well. Okay, so best chiropractors in Lower Manhattan. These are the top 2 pages. Contact us, we know, is definitely not. So we can say keep it separate. And then that whole thing disappears because there's only one article left. So massage therapy benefits, probably on this. So you can click on primary, and then you can click select keep separate for that. And then you could do that for all of the rest of the topics. You want to go through it, give yourself a little bit of time to look through the audit and start connecting all your pages to give you a better sense of what is left to do. We have all these extra icons which are connected to the content audit. So you can see optimize is here. So chiropractic care for back pain, we can keep that here. You can see the scan results. It's matched to this URL. I think here was privacy policy, so we'll want to change that in the audit section. Then here, if you get the alert triangle, that means cannibalization. So you can click on it, and then you'll get the same setup here with all these matches for pages. And then you can select which page is the one that you want to connect to this topic. Okay, so we don't have an exact match here, but we know which ones we definitely don't want, right? So we just select keep separate for all of them. You can still export here. You can export your whole planner tab and send it to Google Sheets, use an Excel if you want. You can also create briefs and drafts in bulk. You can publish in bulk as well. So depending on which articles you have that are eligible to be published, and we don't have any here because we've only created one article and we already published that. It's the same options here. Okay, you select your parent page and all that. And that is it. That's the full workflow. Start to finish, all on one platform. No more switching between spreadsheets, mind maps, and 5 different tools just to get a brief out the door. Brand foundation, topical research, SERP clustering, topical maps and hierarchy, content briefs, article drafts, publishing, content audit. It's all connected and it all feeds forward. You've already done the hard part by learning the methodology. Now you just run it. Start with your brand, build your topical map, and let the platform carry the rest. See you inside, Floyi.